can you just tell us a bit about the Mastercard, Foundation Scholarship? And if you highlight that, and probably there are some missing pieces, Hamid can just hammer on it. So when you were researching, what did you find about the Mastercard Scholarship, and why did that motivate that? Okay, this is the particular scholarship. Maybe to you, Charlie, you just wanted to leave Ghana, like Cameroon or something. You wanted to leave somewhere, so you just wanted to, apply for a citizen. But what is it about? And yeah, Ahmed will add on to that. Yeah.
For me, from what I understood when I started applying for Mastercard scholarships, because I've been applying for them, I think I started at undergrad, and I think what I understood then was that they were looking for young individuals or young youth who are interested in changing their communities, or not even necessarily communities, but themselves and their families, and who have potential to contribute to the development of the continent in one way or another. And they are looking for those kind of students to invest in their education holistically, because the Mastercard doesn't only send you to school, it also invests in your psychological development, helping you figure out, like you said, your why and what you want to do. And yeah, that was initially what I knew about. And I think that's what I've known about it for a very long time, and that's what it is to me, because I've seen a lot of people who are Mastercard scholars and the amazing things they've gone ahead to do for themselves and their communities. And I think before that, I used to think, when you're applying to the Mastercard scholarship, you need to have started some form of NGO or done some form of big thing. But I think along the way, I realized that it's really about those little things, like you all said, that define you as an individual or that drive you. And sometimes it can just be something that's happened in your family, and you being able to show up at that moment and proving that you can display certain leadership skills, or maybe a certain level of resilience as an individual. And I think that's a very important characteristic of most Mastercard scholars, being able to display leadership abilities, taking initiative, being able to influence people, and being able to show resilience. There are some people who, will fall in the face of adversity, but, if like you or Hamid, you've come from maybe low-income communities, or maybe you've come from a slum, and you're able to push through and you get to high school, it's a testament of your resilience as an individual. And I think you're deserving of a chance to be able to go to college, especially if you're looking to come back and give to your community. And I feel like they are also looking for people who have some form of vision. I mean, it doesn't need to be clear. Most times we don't know, what the end is going to look like. It's a journey of self-discovery. You might feel like this is what you want in the beginning, and then you get in there and you realize that, my vision has changed. I want to do something totally different. But I think what they want is for someone who has their community at heart, and the continent as a whole and at heart, and they're trying to, make a change in one way or the other. I think it's just those small changes that we make that are going to sum up to something big, which is different. And yeah, so Mastercard Scholarship, I think one thing about it that is unique to me, or that I found out that is unique, is that they don't hold you or they don't press on you to take a particular part or to do a particular thing. There are some certain scholarships that will say, oh, you need to have a 3.9 GPA throughout, or you need to, they hold you to your word for it. But I feel like they bring you in. Most times you don't need to be like a straight A student. Of course, you need to have good grades. But usually it's a combination of a lot of things, your grades, your leadership experience, your extracurriculars, and, your ability to transfer all of those things into writing in your essays and into speaking in your interviews. And then when you eventually get a scholarship, your personal development as an individual, like I said, you might come in thinking you want to tackle maybe something related to education, but along the way, you realize that you want to tackle something relating to gender, or maybe something related to sanitation or the environment. And I think Mastercard scholarships have that flexibility, from my experience with other Mastercard scholars in my school, you can, you have opportunities that allow you to discover yourself and to be able to find, a path that makes meaning to you as an individual, and not necessarily be stuck to one particular thing because you say this is what I want to do, and this is what I must do, and you're not held to a particular academic standard. Sometimes you're allowed to make mistakes in your academic journey, and they help you, navigate those mistakes and be able to bounce back when you need to. But I'll say they really treat you. It's a scholarship that really treats you like your family or your parent is going to treat you. They acknowledge the fact that you're human, and you have you have all of the human tendencies. The fact that maybe you are high achieving doesn't take away from the fact that sometimes you fail as an individual. So I'll say if you're really looking for a scholarship that is going to take the place of your family, aside the financial aspect of it, I feel like the Mastercard scholarship is that scholarship.
This is a huge ambassadorial role for Mastercard. I think you sold them. Hamid, yeah, do you want to add anything? Was that to that?
No, definitely killed it. Yeah, now I know why you were selected, because you actually like really know so much about Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. When I got Mastercard Foundation Scholarship, I actually got Chevening as well, and I also got the IDS Graduate Scholarship as well. And I also turned the two of them down for the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. And the reason why I chose the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship was because of, like, number one, the regional focus. I think there's an heavy focus on the continent, and the giving back principle as well, and what Daphne mentioned around transformative leadership, and people also have strong academic potential, but they can move forward because of finances or financial capabilities. But that doesn't mean that every scholar actually have gotten some kind of poor background. Some people might be struggling, obviously, but it doesn't mean that everybody's like very, 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 very poor. But definitely there's a kind of like an academic need and a kind of like a funding need at that point. So, you don't have to have a sad story to actually apply for the scholarship. I think that's something you need to know because I've read essays and I've seen people who probably didn't have a sad story but got the scholarship because they were able to articulate the challenges that they face. Maybe, for example, if you're a woman, what were the challenges you're facing as a woman, rather, accessing education and also within your family. For example, obviously, you still need money, but highlighting those key challenges as well, because there's a kind of like a focus on women, people with forced displacement, and people with disability, and how those lived experiences actually shaped your journey and your career and your work. One of the things that I used to say, lived experiences and expertise. So they need to there's a focus on, especially now there's even more focus on sustainability in the Mastercard Foundation program. So there's a need to understand all of those dynamics. But I think one thing again is the pastoral support that you get. Like Daphne mentioned, like they care for you. Like when I got the scholarship, I could recall being picked from the airport to my accommodation. My accommodation was ready 2 months or 3 months before I arrived in the UK. I could also recall arriving, I had my MacBook already with me. You get a MacBook. You get a MacBook, and so many community events for you to bond. If you need any help, if you need any support, they're going to support you. If you're doing a placement research, they're going to give you a funding to go back to your country to do the placement research and come back. They're also going to give you a stipend during that time, additional stipend to your stipend during that time as well. So it's a full-blown scholarship, and they have so many opportunities within as well, maybe to intern, maybe to be an ambassador, maybe to even work on a specific project. There are a couple of projects I worked when I was a Mastercard scholar, and some of those projects actually I actually worked with the Mastercard on my dissertation. So I worked on the project that they were doing in Uganda at the time. And that actually connected me to the job that I got, after my master's. It was because of me working on that research that shaped, my current job and my current role. And the fact that I still came back to work as a research assistant on another project as well, like shows you how Mastercard is actually very, very involved in their scholars and actually highly invested in their scholars, and they really want you to succeed. Because the truth is that they are not giving you the scholarship so that you wouldn't succeed. They are giving you the scholarship so that you can, have a upward mobility, kind of thing. So it's a full package, like Daphne has mentioned. There's so much support that you can get from the scholarship. But yeah, I think it's also understanding your why, understanding your role in the work you've chosen to do. So even if it is little, what were your roles, and being able to articulate those your role and those why. And yeah, I think I might say more as we continue the conversation, but those are the things I would just add. But I mean, definitely like really, really covered everything. I feel like it's the best scholarship ever out there. Because of the support that you get, and because of I've not seen a scholarship that actually offers a pastoral support as Mastercard. Like if you're even graduating, you get a graduate transition stipend. So yes. So
no, see, I have received about, probably my whole journey, about probably 5 scholarships before, fully funded ones. But what you guys are telling me is quite different from what maybe I need to go back and send them an email to say, please, am I eligible for this? You know what? Because none of the scholarships actually does this or checks up or do this, then gives you one. The past scholarship I was on provided sort of like a laptop to work and stuff like that. You're not taking it back, and a camera and a drone because you'll be doing stuff in Africa and probably they need pictures and all of that. But with respect to maybe picking up pastoral support, you can always go back to them, the internship and all of that. I think, it's a great scholarship. Why didn't I know about it, But that's why all these sessions are very good. I mean, everyone on this page is really privileged, because when I was applying for stuff like this, I didn't know these things, So to be able to know them and that this is what I want, aim at it and shoot for it, I think it's great. Now, I think, Hamed, I wanted to add this before we also come. I'm a little bit confused because I know they are partnering universities, okay?
Yeah.
And you are currently in the UK. Daphne is in Ashasi. Is that any particular sort of like, you need to choose which affiliation you want to, or they choose for you, or how does it work? Or you apply for the Mastercard probably in the University of Edinburgh, or you apply for the Mastercard in University of California or something like that? What's if you have
each institution runs their program. I think that's it. Each institution runs their program. So if you're applying to all my experience that I'm sharing is like based on the experience of Mastercard Foundation in Edinburgh, because that was where I went. They partner with different institutions, but each institution actually runs their recruitment, and there are like different ways that the recruitment works. For example, in Edinburgh, they will list like courses that they would be supporting or they will be funding. So you have to like choose those courses. So for example, in my case, I applied for African International Development because it connected my experiences and with my work, and with all of the work I have done, whether as a regional manager, with a youth organization that provides resources into the hands of young people to do change work within the continent. So for example, like Ashesi is like, in Ghana, for example, that's the partner organization. So you have to apply through the partners process. For example, the Mastercard in Cambridge has a different process entirely. The Mastercard Foundation in Oxford has a different process entirely. The Mastercard Foundation in UC Berkeley has a different process entirely. So every institution have their different process. So you have to like follow the institutions to see like when are they going to release a new application, when are they going to like, what is the process like? But I think they actually look for the same thing or similar things. Which is like, transformative leadership, financial, you have a need, community development, and then the give back principle as well, that you're committed to giving back to the continent.
Daphne, is it still, how is yours like as well? Is the same thing?
I think it's the same thing, because each institution has their admissions policies and their procedures. So for example, when I was applying to Edinburgh, I didn't need like a recommendation letter for the university itself, but I needed a recommendation letter for the Mastercard Scholarship. sometimes a Mastercard scholarship in some schools might not require a recommendation, but the university itself might require, especially if you're applying to the US or Canada, they might require 2 to 3 recommendations. So sometimes you have to, first of all, get the admission into the university before you're considered for the scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for Edinburgh is different because you get the scholarship first, and then they help you navigate the university admissions process. I think that's just because in the UK admissions are open sometime up until June, but for Canada, US admissions closes sometime in January or December for most schools. So I think before applying for the scholarship, you first of all have to make sure that you're meeting the requirements of the university you're applying to before even meeting the Mastercard scholarship requirements, because it's going to be useless if you apply for the scholarship and you still don't get the university. That's like you've done a lot of work, but you've not gotten anything in the end. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, I mean, you highlighted a very important role, and I keep telling a lot of people that one thing about the UK is that they believe in equity and equality of education. So education for all and to all. So if you apply for admission, 100% chance that you're going to get the admission is rest assured. But what separates you from the other person studying is your means of funding or your proof of funding. Okay, so that is why hammered on, maybe quote unquote, you need to have gotten the scholarship and you're automatically admitted to the institution or the partnering institution of Mastercard where you want to go to. So if he did the other way around or applied to the University of Edinburgh and came back, it's still going to be the same thing anyways, but they are going to help you. The moment you get this funding and the funding is with the institution, they are going to help you all through and through your application, through your admission and everything. You see that they all keep coming like that from probably a research degrees point of view. And I think you made mention of some requirements. So we'll go straight to what were certain requirements that were asked of you. So for somebody who is a novice, what were the requirements that were asked of you when you were applying into Mastercard in HRC, and how did you go about all of them?
So do I go first?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so I think when I was applying for my undergrad at HRC, so the process at HRC, you just fill like a generic financial aid application, and then they decide what scholarship to automatically place you under. But I remember when I was applying, I needed to submit my transcript, and then any other documents that I felt like will support my application. Maybe if I had a certificate from a summer program, I needed my GCE results. That would probably be BEC, but I needed my GCE A levels and O levels. And then I needed, for people who are not from English-speaking countries, you need like some sort of proof of English language proficiency. Sometimes they'll waive that depending on your results at the GCE, on your English language results at the GCE. And I think that was it for Mastercard, for my scholarship at HSC for my undergrad. And I think one thing also was my proof of not proof of funding per se, but proof of my financial situation, just to show that, proof of need. So my parent gave me like a bank statement at the time. There are so many other documents that can fill that up. Some people provide letters from their parents' employers. At undergrad, it's a little more flexible because they know that there are certain documents you can't provide as someone applying at that level. And then I also had to write an essay and then provide a letter stating why I needed financial aid. So it's like financial aid essay, but this one was like a letter itself. I think for Edinburgh, it was relatively easier, shockingly, because at a master's level, so I expected a little more complexity compared to other scholarships I had applied to. But for the University of Edinburgh, I think at the time I was applying, I needed my transcript and I needed my degree, and then I also needed my essay. So I think that was really it at the time I was applying. And then when I did my interviews, I had to submit a recommendation, and then that was it. And for the university itself, I needed proof of English language proficiency. So Mastercard helped me or they supported me with that. I was able to take the TOEFL and they paid for that. So I took the test of English as a first language, and thankfully I passed it on the first try, and then subsequently I got my admissions, and that was really it was a lot more easier than I had anticipated, and I think that was how I remember it being even when I was applying at undergrad. Just your essays, and then your degree, your transcripts, your recommendations, and I think if you have to go intrinsic, like go detailed into what you need to have prepared by the time you're applying, especially if you're a master student, I would say you need to have shown some commitment to giving back to the continent even before you're applying. You don't necessarily maybe need to have started at an NGO. I mean, but you need to have, shown that you've done some work that's relating to maybe a practical problem that is on the continent. So in my case, I have volunteered for a few NGOs that do work that I'm interested in. And I had also worked on my personal project myself. I had worked on a project to fundraise to support the education of internally displaced children in Cameroon. So for my project, I think I created animated videos for YouTube to telling their stories and then calling on people to donate. And I think I raised about $2,400 in funding, and I bought school bags, books, pencils, pens, and so that was like what I wrote in my essay. And I also wrote about my volunteer work and all of that. And I think that's really what so many scholars are known for, being able to demonstrate that in the smallest way you're concerned about the community, especially is even more beneficial if it's the community in which you come from, and if it's a problem that directly relates to you as an individual, because it was a problem close to my heart, and it's something I had pondered over for a long time, and I did not think I was going to do it, but it came to me. I had like the burning desire to do it at the time I was doing it, and so I think if you're to go into the details of what they are looking for, I think that's one thing. Showing that desire, and I think also they look a lot for leadership qualities. Not necessarily, occupying leadership positions, but it boils down to taking initiative for the things around you. Maybe if something went wrong in your family and you were able to, help your family navigate that situation, that would be a nice time to talk about that. Or maybe if among your friends, one of them was sick and there was a time you had to stand up for them, so they look at, that whole picture and how much they think you can go back, or even if you're not going back, working from wherever you are, you're committed to giving back. And I think sometimes you don't even only focus on the continent, but also what you're doing beyond your community and what you can contribute to the world at large as a person. I think that was it for me.
Over to you, Hamid.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely actually really covered many of the things that I'll probably have said around requirements. I think it was quite easy for the masters. Obviously, you can't say it's all easy because again, you also have to think through essay question and essay responses and how that works as well. So, but I think one key thing is to have your transcripts and certificates and ensuring that you actually meet the GPA requirements or the CGPA requirement as well, because they take into 1 and first class. So if you like second class upper and first class, so if you have anything lesser than that, you don't have a chance, especially for Edinburgh. And also there's like a certain GPA you must have reached as well. So you do like the calculation in the eligibility stage when you're feeling like the eligibility stage of the application to see. But it's good to force people to actually have their transcript at hand and certificates. Like that really helps and does the magic. So I think that's one on the one end, and then answering the essays to the best of your knowledge, to the best of your ability. One of the things that I used to tell people is that don't be a lazy applicant. I think there are some people that are very lazy. I've reviewed like applications for like different things. Like I do review applications almost every year for different things. And one of the things that I see is that people are actually lazy, very, very lazy. you're writing an essay and then they're asking for 500 words or they're asking for 250 words and then you're writing 15 words and you expect me to select you, it's not going to be like, I won't, like, right from reading your essay, I'm like, done. Or you aren't answering the question. So they're asking you, tell us about your experience or tell us about your leadership experience. And then you start talking about how you were fetching water in your village, trekking distances. How does that connect to actually like what you've created? If there's a connection, obviously, why not mention it? But if there's no connection to like why you do what you do, like why do you have to mention all of your life story? So the moment you're mentioning the life story, people who are reviewing get turned off and they're like, nah, this is not what we wanted. Also like, so again, there's a need for you to like actually sit down and read the question really well. What is the question asking? What are the elements of the question? So one of the things that I used to do is that I break question down into elements. So I mean, like, this is what this is asking. This is asking this. This is asking this. This is asking this. So this question has 3 layers of questions. And then I try to answer them in my essays. And I read my essays. Have I actually answered this question? So, because again, if you're doing a master's, for example, like you're going to have a question, like, have you really answered the question? It's what you should keep asking yourself. Like I write essays, like now I think I'm very, very good at it, that I would answer essay questions and I'm like, boom, done. Like I literally just wake up and write essays. Like it's crazy now. Like,
I think it's a master's training here in the UK. At the end of the day, you answer a lot of essays, but I think I didn't know that they had a couple of essays that you needed to write. How many essays do you think?
I think it's about 5 questions. It's not a lot of questions. It's about 5 questions. If you're doing like online, I think the question also changes every year, but it's like similar to each other. They just like kind of like retweak what the questions are. So it's very, very important for people to actually like, reflect on like what are they actually really asking in this question. Do your research about the program, research about like what opportunities of the program offer. For example, some courses have placements, reflect on the placements. Who are the lecturers in your school? Who do you want to connect with? Which lecturers' work inspires you? And then connect with your work and your future trajectory. What's your career goal? What's your short-term and long-term career goal? What are the, community programs that Mastercard offers for bonding? Why did you even choose the program? All of these things that we are saying, like pastoral care, all of those things can be written into your essays as well. How do you weave all of those things into your essays? How do you weave the fact that, like this, for example, there's a Babab Summit that every Mastercard Foundation scholars for every institution attend? Like how do you also blend that into your essays of like how you use that to build connections and connect with people? And one of the things that my essays are more spiritual. And when I say spiritual, I don't mean spiritual in terms of like spirit or spiritual. I mean spiritual in the terms of like, I'm going to do them. If I say I'm going to do something in my essays, like literally every essays that I've written, most of the things that I say there, I end up doing them. And that's why I said it's more spiritual and personal for me, because once I write something, I'm going to do it. So one of the things that I said in my essays is I'm going to raise significant resources to put money into the hands of young people to do change work. And I've been doing that through like a teachers and training fellowship that I started, and through, being a board member in Peace First, which was the former organization I was working in. And, I've been like doing that through those work. So, or through every other means that I can do that work or do that, have an opportunity to do that. So when I write my essays, like they are more personal to me. So whatever I say that I'm going to do there, I'm going to do it. So some of us will be like, some people write essays and I'm like, it's not spiritual, it's not personal. It's
you
not
can't
like,
feel it.
there's no commitment. So that's why when I get into interviews, I'm crazy, because I actually know what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm telling you, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm telling you, I'm going to do them. And this is why I'm going to do them, because I've done this, and this, and I did them, and I'm going to do this as well. And this is why I'm going to do it. And this is why I think, getting into this program would allow me and build my capacity to actually do them. So for me, it's beyond an essay. It's beyond just writing a piece of word so that I can get a scholarship. It's more personal and spiritual to me. And, people can actually read through the lines. They can read the passion. They can read, I can see somebody who is like powerful and who is going to like, so again, don't be a lazy applicant, don't be a lazy applicant. I've seen lazy applicants. applicants. And like some
Honestly,
people are too
Kayode,
lazy. Yeah, they are too lazy. They are too very,
yeah,
very, 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 very lazy that they don't even want to research about anything and they are writing rubbish.
yeah,
Sometimes your competition actually is not. You see, they tell you that don't just make up a number of a scholarship application. Sometimes they say like, oh, over 5,000 applied. Maybe out of that 5,000, maybe only 200 actually are competing.
exactly,
Because
true,
some people have actually submitted a very, very rubbish application. So don't
yeah,
just make up the number. That's when scholarships say, oh, we received over 5,000 applicants. You're just making up a number. Actually,
yeah,
your competition are like maybe the 200 or the 100 who got into the interview, because those are the ones who actually took their time to actually submit a very solid and great application. So, and those are your competition. That is what you should focus on, writing to be the best of the best and writing to ensure that you have a solid application. So don't make up the numbers and be a lazy applicants. I think I'm just going to talk
yeah,
about that.
yeah. And honestly, you said it all. Like Daphne and Coyote, like we review essays, right? I can read through the lines. And so imagine the people who have seen it over and over again for the past 10 years or 20 years that particular scholarship has been running. They've read a whole lot of essays, okay? And if you submit about a 2,000, like I was just on an admission board and I was so surprised. 2,000 essays, they're not going to take your 2,000 essays and read through. What they are going to take is to pass through an admission board system that can pick out on keywords first. So they input the AI generated system. We had the particular keywords. So if your keywords doesn't run through all the documents you have submitted, that's why it's an online portal system. At first, scholarships used to be a word file, and even now AI has progressed. So online portal systems will sieve it out immediately. After the online portal sees them out, then now the 200 they receive are given to individuals on different board. So they review 5 at a day or 10 at a day, because there's not much you can read when you're exhausted. Okay. So, and they've read a whole lot and they will be able to tell. So don't just wake up to do something. And what Hamed said was very important. Like, you have to be passionate about it. I can read passion from a distance. You don't need to tell me. I can see someone, I can put two people down and tell that this person is passionate about this and that person is just passing through. If you just want to, my Nigerian brothers would say that jackpot, and you're just putting document together or making somebody write it for you so that you move through, we will see it. It can be seen. So don't deceive yourself. Don't even waste your time. Don't waste your time and your emotions and yourself to be able to get through it. And you'll be emotionally down. So I've applied for a mini, but I'm not getting it through. No, it's a skill you need to develop, and you need to develop it well. 100% or hands down. If I read through Daphne or Hamid, I can tell from a distance. Most chevening I have reviewed, I can tell that this person is getting it. And there was a guy who even applied for chevening and he said he was overqualified, because I mean, what I was reading was overqualification. Chevening will need you rather on the board. They don't need you to now come and study for them. Do you get? So we can see it from a distance. Okay. So that, I think that in the course of our conversations, we really highlighted quite a number of questions that I had. And I'll like to highlight this particular one. Someone is asking if there's an age capping, because Daphne, you said that you applied during undergraduate. So does it apply for both bachelor's, master's, and is there a PhD as well? Or is there a particular age you need to meet, or it carries across? I'll give it to Daphne, yeah, then Hamid after. You're on mute.
Okay, so I don't know if there is a lower age limit for the Mastercard scholarship for both undergrad and masters, but for masters, I know, first of all, there is no PhD Mastercard scholarship. Recently, I saw American University of Beirut. I don't know if I saw right, but I think they've started doing PhD scholarships for Mastercard. I'm not very sure if I saw well. I should go and check again. But I also know there are certain partnerships that might involve PhD, but I don't think PhD research, but I don't think there is like a direct PhD scholarship for Mastercard. But then the lower age limit, I've not really come across a lower age limit. I know usually it's 18 or 17 to 35. But I'm not very sure about the lower age limit, but I think for the upper age limit, I think most times it's 35. I don't know, Ahmed, maybe I'm wrong, but you can correct me on that.
No, you're not wrong.
Okay.
I agree. It's 18 to 35, especially for masters. Yeah, it's like the youth, technically the youth age, and for undergrad, I think it's 18 to 29. So undergrad has gotten like yeah, maybe it might slightly not be even 18 to 29. Yeah, it's like 18 to 29. Yeah, it could be yeah. It could be lesser, but I'm not sure. But I know it's 18 to 29. 29 is like the cap for undergrad, I feel. And then for postgrad, it's 35. And for the PhD, actually, I think they now started doing PhDs, but in some specific ways and in some specific like partnership. Like it's not like a kind of like a full-on kind of like blown PhD, like they are doing like a recruitment kind of like. So they, for example, like Edinburgh has a partnership with Wits University in South Africa. So they are doing like a joint PhD program, and they are supporting researchers on to work on specific particular topic as well. So there's like that partnership happening. I mean, it's just new, it's just like an additional component, but they don't they're actually really, really specific support PhD. And I could be wrong as well, but I know that Mastercard in Edinburgh is currently doing a partnership with Wits University, and they are doing a joint doctoral program on with the Edinburgh features as well. So yeah, it's a kind of like a feature, they call it WESAF. I can't remember. So it's like with Edinburgh African Features sustainability program, and it's a PhD focused program. So
Daphne made mention of the fact that she had to apply write an English proficiency, but did you have to do that as well?
I applied. I did an English proficiency exam. Some of my colleagues didn't do because of like the year they graduated, but because I finished my undergrad in 2015 and it took me 5 years to come for my master's. So they were like, okay, we won't be able to accept, because my my university was also part of like the university that they give like a exemption from writing like English, but because I graduated 5 years ago, I was told I have to do an English assessment. So I did the university English assessment. Mastercard arranged it as well, and yeah, and I passed as well. So just like the way they arranged an English assessment for Daphne, so there's like a university-based English assessment as well that they can arrange for you. So I think they just started TOEFL this year, but during my time it was like a university English assessment, which was yeah, it wasn't like that, difficult to pass or something.
Yeah, TOEFL actually, yeah. So imagine today I've come to listen to the session. Okay, I'm going to apply for Mastercard. Where do I start? I know there's a link. Okay, the link offers partnering universities. I think we've shared it on the platform. I'm confused. I think that okay, I want to go and do Mastercard in Ashasi. I want to go and do it in University of Edinburgh. So do I go to the University of Edinburgh's page or Ashasi's university and apply for the admission? I think Daphne highlighted a bit. Or I should go to the Mastercard, probably read about the Ashasi or the Edinburgh one. Then maybe the steps are quite there following. If there's a couple of steps, what do I sort of do? I'll give it to Daphne, then carry it next.
Okay, so I think first of all, you'll have to start from the Mastercard page, looking at the partner schools, depending on because they state there if, undergrad, if they accept an undergrad or master's applications, and then first of all, the level you're applying for, and then start checking the programs, because some schools have some specific programs that they sponsor for the Mastercard Scholarship. So if you maybe apply, if you're looking to do maybe something business related, but the school you're applying to doesn't offer a business related program under the Mastercard Scholarship, then it's going to be useless applying there. So if you find, first of all, schools and match the level, and they have like potential programs you'll be interested in, you can start first of all checking if you meet the Mastercard Scholarship requirements, your GPA, community service, your what drives you as an individual, or your personal goals, if they align with what Mastercard Foundation Scholarship is looking for. Because I know there are some scholarships that are completely merit-based, and some people who don't have or who are not particularly looking to who are not particularly looking out for, the give back components of a scholarship, all of that, they might want to go for those. But if you're looking for a scholarship that you would like to build you as a leader, and also give you the opportunity to make changes in your community or wherever you come from, I think you might also consider the Mastercard Scholarship. So looking at that first of all, and then looking at each university's requirements, because you need to meet university requirements before even before you're able to attend the school on the scholarship. So look at each university's requirements and see if you meet the requirements as an individual. Sometimes the university might also not be university ones. Certain universities don't appeal to certain people, or might not be what the people want, even if they have the programs they offer, or they have the Mastercard Scholarship. So I think first of all, from a broader you start very broadly looking at the scholarship as a whole, and then narrowing it down to your program, and then to the university that offers those programs. And then sometimes you might be flexible a little with the programs. Maybe if you're looking to do public policy and you don't have public policy, the development studies might be a little close. Or if you're looking to do something education related, but they don't have education, but they have something like learning sciences, it might be a little close. Sometimes you just need that stepping stone to, get to where you want to get to. And then if you find a program, make sure you're meeting the university requirements. And sometimes it might be helpful to also check because the website, they might have some outdated information. Some schools might no longer be running the program, but they are there. So it might be nice to check the university's website and see. Some of them also have like university-specific requirements for their scholarships, for the Mastercard Scholarship. So there might be broader requirements, but there might also be university-specific requirements. So you might also want to look at that. And then try to make sure that you're meeting school requirements, broad Mastercard and university-specific requirements. And that you can just, even if you're not sure, sometimes the leave contacts, you can send an email to say, oh, I'm a potential applicant. There's this thing that I don't understand on the website, or there's this thing I'm not sure of. Can you clarify for me, or can you provide more information? I think they're going to do that. And I think, that's it. Just making sure you're aligning yourself properly to whatever school you're applying to, and to the scholarship requirements of the school. Some schools have different themes. I think for this cycle for Mastercard and at Edinburgh is on environmental sustainability. So there are different themes for different schools at different periods in time. At some point, it might be peace or stuff like that. So finding out if they have something like that and how you fit into that is really helpful.
Okay. All right. Kaide.
I don't think I would probably have anything to add, but I used to take different approach, to be honest. Like, I just go for one thing at times. Like, I just like Edinburgh is Edinburgh, Mastercard only in Edinburgh, and I just like, but I think it's also good to like do your research. I think one of the best ways is to actually follow the scholarship on social media, because whenever the scholarship comes out and everything, they're gonna like release it, and when it's out, and you can actually read through requirements and go on YouTube, learn about it. I have a couple of videos that I've done on YouTube for people, and it's there. There are like so many resources and other videos that people have done as well. So you also do your, like, again, don't be a lazy applicant. Again, like, do your research, read about the criteria. Like, you're a master's student, for God's sake. If you cannot research a scholarship, then how do you want to do a critical inquiry into a particular topic or into a particular debate if you cannot even research just scholarship, like getting like the kind of scholarship that you want? I think it's also showcase your own skills, like of ability to find information, ability to find people, ability to be creative. I think those things are really, really important. But I think for me it was just like, I was like, when I was looking at Mastercard Foundation, I was really looking at Edinburgh. I wasn't looking elsewhere. So yeah.
And
and
definitely. And is there a way you could be doing in one and you get to go to another university for other, like you're doing in Ashasi, but you can go to Edinburgh, or Edinburgh is running the course in Ashasi? I don't know.
Are you talking about like an exchange program?
An exchange program, yeah.
I don't think Mastercard has like exchange programs for school in itself, but if you're in a university, okay, for example, Ashesi has the university itself has like exchange programs or study abroad programs where students can go to other universities. If you're a Mastercard Foundation scholar, so what happens during exchange programs is that whatever school fees you've paid here is going to be transferred there and all of that. So your scholarship is going to, cover that for you. There might be some incidental expenses or additional expenses you might have to cover yourself. But I think Mastercard has it's flexible in the sense that it gives you room to do that, but it also have like maybe summer programs. There's the summer school at Edinburgh, there's a summer school at Sciences Po, and if you want to maybe do a summer program, you can go to Edinburgh, or of course you have to apply still as a Mastercard scholar, but it's open to Mastercard Foundation scholars. They have a couple of other exchange programs you can do, but I don't think they are necessarily full-blown academic programs like a semester abroad or something like that. It will probably just be like a short exchange or a short leadership program that you get to attend. But if your university offers students a chance to travel abroad and do a semester abroad or an exchange program abroad and you're a Mastercard scholar, I think if that doesn't disrupt the time frame within which you're supposed to complete your degree, you might be eligible to do that. A lot of HSA students have had a chance, while Mastercard scholars have done semesters abroad and or year abroad as exchange programs. So I think that's possible.
Yeah. Just to add to that, also, like if you have a master's before, you can apply for the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship for your master's program. So you don't have to have a master's, but if you've gotten a Mastercard Foundation Scholarship in undergrad, you can actually apply for the postgrad as well. So there's that transition as well. I feel like, people know that you would automatically get in, you still have to fight for a place. But it gives you a kind of like headway, but it doesn't mean you'll get it. If you've gotten if you apply to different Mastercard Foundation Scholarship program, you have to pick one of them.
Yeah.
For your master's, basically you pick one and then you drop one, and basically so you can actually apply to multiple Mastercard Foundation Scholarship at the same time, and then you go for the one you really want. Nobody would hold you. But yeah, I think I will just add that.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, please do pop them in the chat box. If you're on Facebook as well, you can drop all the questions in the chat. I'll be reading them out. I think someone has asked this question and was going to lead to my next question. Is the Mastercard open for your particular scholarship, for your particular institution? If it's not, when does it open? I'll give it to Kayode first.
Yeah. So it depends. Initially, it used to open October 1st during my time, but it changed last year, and then it opened in December and January. So I think the timeline could change, but I think they might get back to like the October timeline again, or maybe December timeline. I'm not sure. But it could mean that they might start another recruitment in October. But again, that's why it's very important to follow like social media, because it will be out on social media. You'll see it, like people will share it around, like follow scholarship groups. You see it, like they'll post it around, opportunity. Like I feel like even right now, somebody asked me like, how do I see opportunities? Actually, I don't find opportunities anymore. Like people will just come to my DM and then say, man, I think you're gonna get this one. Try it. And that's the way I apply for opportunities now. I literally don't search for opportunities anymore, because it's like all around me. I just keep seeing, because of the kind of network I also keep, like you just see somebody sharing or what's I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, okay, cool. So it's just like that. But I mean, I would suggest that you follow Mastercard, and anytime they release, you will see it there. Even me, I will share. So probably, so following, people that also like anons or people who are scholars as well, because they want to share as well during that time. So yeah, just keep an eye out, and yeah, best of luck.
Is it the same timeline with you, Daphne, as well?
Yeah, so like Habet said, I think this year when I applied was different. It opened in December and closed in January, but I know it used to open in October. And then for Chelsea, I think for Chelsea, admissions used to open sometime um around September, October, and then if you need a scholarship, you need to have applied by April, May. But because of COVID and changes in the times where people write final exams and all of that,
Yeah.
I think it's moved now to January and ends sometimes June. So, but I think it's going to go back to September, October, and then they're going to reshape it. But for now, it's January and then process sometime in June. But like Hamed said, I would say it's if you have any target goals in mind, it's good to follow their social media handles and so that if they have those updates, and there are a lot of pages that share this information. So sometimes you don't even need to be necessarily following the school, you find the information. And also, like I said, if you're not sure of timelines, you can just email, or if you're not even sure if the school offers the scholarship anymore, you can just email to say, I'm trying to find out if Mastercard is still operating and when admissions open. And I think they're going to give you that information.
Yeah, and obviously this session is very important because I've gotten a lot of scholarships that, within that time when it's open, everybody's now applying for it, and worrying scholars like you get 20,000 emails trying to ask you to review an essay and all that. But it's good to start now. I know the essays, start writing them, and now is the best time because it's not open to actually chase up, scholars like you guys to have a read through and stuff like that, rather than, waiting to last minute and everybody say, can you please read it? There's just 2 days to the deadline. Hamed, you want to say something?
I was just trying to throw a caveat that I'm not going to be reading essays in case people try to, because I feel like I've read a lot already.
That's fine.
And that's why I try to like come for this kind of session, or I kind of like record things on YouTube. There's like I did like a question and answer session on YouTube of like all the essay questions last year. And it's like it's there like it's like over an hour session. Like I even did 2 of those sessions, and I'm like, if I've done that and you've read through and you could do your research by yourself, I think that's also incredible. I know it's good to also I try to read, but I feel like I try to read, but because now it's now even more difficult for me because of like other tasks that I carry currently. So I'm like, I don't want to read. So if you reach out to me on LinkedIn asking me to read essays and I did not answer you, I'm sorry. It's not because I don't want to answer or I don't want to respond. I'm just saying this now. It's because I don't have the bandwidth anymore like I used to. So yeah, but I'm really, really rooting for people, really, really rooting for people, to be honest. I'm really, really rooting for you. I think you have the capacity to win a scholarship, and I think you can do it. I think you should also look at, aside from looking at current scholars as well, you could also look at your friends. My friends were the one that read my essays, to be honest. Like some of my friends, like just my own friends who knows me, I think it's also good because they could point out things that you might not see. So because again, you also want to review, like you want to write with your own uniqueness. Imagine if maybe one scholar is using a particular lens to review like 10 different essays. That's their own lens, but what uniqueness are you also bringing into your essays as well? And I think your friend can actually offer that uniqueness, basically. But again, I don't, you should reach out to an alumni. If they have the capacity, they would definitely help. If I also have the capacity, I can, but I'm sorry, I might not probably respond just in case.
Yeah, that's fine. Really, if you could share your YouTube link on the sessions you did and stuff like that, people would, it's rather to be honest and straightforward about it than people thinking that, I send him emails and they don't respond. I like honesty. I come in straightforward. I say, you know what, I cannot do this, let someone else do that. Don't take it personal, really. Sometimes there's a whole lot happening around us, and Dear Young Graduates is even doing Scholarship Buddy, okay? And Scholarship Buddy, whenever we ask people to apply for it, people tend to apply within a short time. So we've got mentors, people that mentor with their young graduate, and they help review document. So you can schedule a one-on-one meeting with a mentor. They'll help you review your document and send it back to you, and even have a 1-hour session with you to go through all the documents and what they thought was. Then you take it back, and now you can rebook another session again to tell them that this and this is what I've done. Do you think it's great? And and book as many mentors as you can, but you just need to give ample time. So we run those schemes, but I can bet you 100% of the time that people still don't utilize it, and they still want to go into people's, documents and personal emails and send them. I think if there are any further questions, we are ready to take it, but we'll be ending the session soon. I think it's been very insightful. Someone was asking if, I think someone asked the question, but we've already answered it, so I'm not going to go into that. You can, the recording will be shared, and you can rewatch it if in case you just missed on that question. But someone was asking if it is possible to apply for the master's program whilst awaiting graduation. There's this wait period. Daphne, you want to take?
So I think for Edinburgh you can, but I think when we were applying, they said you must have your degree by the end of December, even if you had not graduated by the time we were applying. So most schools are going to state that if you're able to apply with your degree or not, but you must have your degree before you're able to enroll on the program. So I think Edinburgh, you need to have your degree. If you're when we're applying in December, I think they told us by the end of that month you need to have your degree. Thankfully, I had my degree in June of 2022, so I was cleared for that. But for some other universities, they might explicitly state that you must have had your degree about a year ago, or maybe you must already have the degree at hand. But I think most times they'll want you to have the degree, because sometimes people apply and they start chasing the degree certificate from their institution and it's not forthcoming. So it's advisable to have it present with you when you're applying. I think for HSC, when I was applying for undergrad, I already had my final high school results, but some people did not have. But before enrolling, they'll use your maybe your secondary school results and your transcript to speculate, also as a ground for admissions. But when you get the final results, you have to send it to them. So I think masters, they are a little more strict on getting your degree before applying for undergrad. It's a little more flexible if you're going to have your results within the time or before you enroll into your university. And I think most times that requirement comes off strictly because the university also needs that for admission. So if Mastercard gives you a timeline and then it's not in sync with what the university wants, and then they give you the scholarship and at the end you don't get the admissions, then it's useless. So I think it's very important to check if you need to have your degree in hand before applying, or you can apply without your degree.
Okay. I think that before we take the questions in the chat box, I'm hoping that we are ending the session in about 10 minutes. I think I have a last question here with me. I think you guys have made mention of a few, but what are sort of like the financial benefit you get from Mastercard? I would know probably a little bit about what Hamid gets here in the UK, but Daphne, if you can tell us what are the financial benefits whilst you're in Ghana, and Hamid, we'll go to you. Yeah.
Okay, so I think for Mastercard in Ghana, first of all, you get like a round trip ticket to and from home every year to go home over the long vacation, and then your tuition is paid. Obviously, you get like a stipend. It's not as much as those who are in the schools in UK or Canada or US but you get a stipend. You get a meal plan, so you have money blocked somewhere, and you have like every day you have to spend like a specific amount on food. All scholars stay on campus, and on campus you don't cook, so you have to buy food. So you have money set aside specifically for that every day. And then they'll give you at the beginning of the semester, they give you money for stationery. And I think over the Christmas vacations, we had to leave campus, so they'll give you money for that period where you have to cook yourself because you stay in a hostel, which is not on campus, so you have to cook for yourself. And then they provide maybe health insurance. If you're sick, you have a health insurance. You have a laptop. They give you a laptop when you get in. And then any kind of incidental cost that you might incur, which you have an explanation for. For example, if you have to incur a lot of cost in the hospital which your insurance doesn't cover for, they might be able to cover that for you. And I think that's what the Mastercard. And then sometimes they also provide this one you have to apply for it. They provide grants and support for community-led projects. So if you have to do a community project, you can apply for grants, and then you get the grants. There are also grants for new businesses. If you want to start a business, you can get the grants for that. So that's really like the financial support they offer. There might be some other things that I've not mentioned, but those are like the main things that they cover.
Okay, all right. Hamid?
Yeah, I think she covered everything. And I've mentioned some of them as well before. You get like a monthly stipend, your accommodation. For example, in Edinburgh, you get a monthly stipend and your accommodation is already covered. So you don't have to start looking for your accommodation for 1 year. And your monthly stipend is just to cover basic expenses. And I think it's about maybe £500 or above. I don't know how much now. I don't know. But you actually, since your accommodation is out of things, you just have money to like cover all of that basic needs. And then you get the laptop, and then, your air tickets. If you don't have a passport, you get money for your passport. If your passport expires, they give you money to renew. Like I got the money to renew my passport during my time. So, so yeah, I literally was getting everything. I even did a COVID test that I didn't need, and I got the money. So I was just like, they give you everything. And then you also get, you get like a startup stipend as well as you arrive for like your, to just buy like clothing and some other things, of about like £200 or so. I can't remember how much it is now. It must probably have changed because of like the cost of living has changed. And then, if you maybe have bereaved parents for some reason or something happened, bereaved family members, they actually cover your trip to go back and come back again. So like, it's again, like I said, it's very, 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 very supportive. It's very, very, very supportive. And you could also apply for like in-house enterprise funding, small grants. If you have an initiative that you want to drive, you can apply for the in-house enterprise funding as well. It's not that it's a lot of money, but it's something. I think that's it. And there could be many things that you can actually get. I don't want to talk like when we came in and we were like, because I came in during COVID. Yeah. So we're like inside, we couldn't, get like the food that the university was giving us was poor. So they kind of like they asked us to write a list of food we want, and they did the shopping and they brought it. So we got like all the plates, utensils, foods, and they gave us like a voucher as well for us to keep buying things. So like I'm telling you, like it's the best.
They are very family. Yeah, they are really family because
so you can never get such pastoral support anywhere.
No.
So it's the pastoral care is top notch. It's like I can keep going and going of like how like I love the community. I would choose Mastercard over and over again.
Oh, of course. I studied in the UK. I studied in the UK all my life on scholarships, and this is not. I didn't even get half of what you got. It's just obviously my tuition and my stipend. That was it. I don't even know who gave me. I know the name of the scholarship that gave me, but I've never even met anyone. Do you understand? And if you don't ask, you don't even know. Actually, with a laptop and even the camera I got, I actually wanted to do something. And I asked them and said, "Oh yeah, there's an your grant covers it." I didn't even know the substance of it. So I think it's the openness, the friendliness, and the pastoral. You can run to somebody like a parent or something to just ask. It's just either a yes or a no answer. Yeah. So I think there are no questions currently on Facebook, but I think there's one question here that we can just carry on. Then we just close the session. A little bit skeptical. I feel it's been answered, but he said that Samuel, I think, has been very proactive also in asking questions. He said, please, all applicants have access to the same information on the university website. How does an applicant stand out in his or her reasons for the course and the university? Oh, right. Okay, yeah, true.
So I don't know if I'm muted. Okay, I'm not muted. So I'll say, I think Hamid already spoke about this in the beginning, but I think most of this boils down to you as an individual and what you're looking to do with your degree and how your experiences have shaped your decision to pursue this degree. So first of all, how your experiences have shaped your decision to pursue the degree and what you're looking to do with the degree. So you can first of all start by talking about, let me say, if there's something about you that has made you interested in doing the program, that because it's very rare that two students will have the same particular reason, and even if they do, they are going to articulate that in different ways. So maybe for me, I said I wanted to do my degree because I'm interested in addressing issues related to education in conflict affected regions, and is situated in the broader context of development issues, which I was applying for international development. And what I wanted to do in my degree, I also spoke about working with international organizations that are helping to improve access to education for young people from conflict-affected communities like UNICEF, and also speaking to specific courses that I might want to take: displacement and development, conflict and development, and also specific lecturers that I might want to work with. I think I reached out to Hamid right before my interview, and he gave me names of lecturers that I might quote during my interview. And so I think, as much as there's like that broad information, there's you as an individual and what you want to do with your degree, how your experiences have shaped your decision to apply for that degree. And yeah, it's really the same for two people. And even if it's the same, how they say it or how they are able to express that is really going to be different.
Yeah. True. Hands down.
And just to add, your story is unique and it's unique to you. Shine your light. Don't be scared to shine your light. We are an embodiment of stories. We are an embodiment of communities that we are part of. We also like an experience over time. I think one of the mistakes that people make when they write their essays is that they don't reflect. They just kind of like answer the question. So create some time to like reflect on like, what's your even story? What's your journey? Why, do you, why should you apply to the scholarship? How does the scholarship goals actually align with your personal goals and your professional goals? And also like just doing all of those kind of like reflections. So for example, I'm going to give you an example. In 2016, there was a job I got as an examination invigilator to travel to Saudi Arabia. And as of then, they'll be paying me $6,000. I'll get an accommodation, I'll get a car. And I turned that job down to start my NGO. And they were like, my family were like, you're crazy. They're like, we need money. It didn't really like go well. Like, we need money. We want to do, like, you got like an opportunity. I'm like, no, I'm not interested. In fact, then I've submitted my passport. I wanted to do the medicals. I'm like, return my passport, return my medicals. I want to start my NGO. I'm not interested. I want to push for my vision. And what that does to me is that it then drives me to then put, even though I was not earning anything, starting my NGO as a young person, I did several courses, participated in a yearly regional leadership program, participated in like, a couple of other programs, got, into different, opportunities, wrote a book in between, started a blog, did so many, engaged with the office of the Senate president, and I kind of like mentioned that in my essay of like, if I had said yes to that job, maybe I wouldn't have made regional and local impacts within my community like I have done. So, and I wrote the lessons that, sometimes you need to understand or have a vision of where you want to go. So that was a setback. It was a setback question. It seems like a setback. But those were the things that I was able to do because of that setback, and I highlighted that in my essay. So again, it's more of like then you looking at the bits and pieces of your story and how powerful they are, and then reflecting on those stories to write your essays. Like I said, we are an embodiment of stories. We are a story over time. We are a community over time. We are an experience over time. So even the list of the story you can think of can be the most powerful stories that you probably share in your essays, but because they connect. So I would suggest, sit down, think about who you are as a person, think about the individual, look at the question, make sure you're answering the questions, research about the schools, research about the lecturers, research about the program. But at the end of the day, it's you.
Yeah. No two stories will ever be the same, obviously not. I think that, I'm very time conscious on today, and I just want, I think a lot has been said. Really, to be honest, if I knew about the scholarship, I would have applied for it, and probably I would have known Hamid some years back and worrying him here and there. But life happened, and obviously, I'm grateful for my journey. I'm grateful for how far I've also, come with in terms of scholarship applications. So I hope you are motivated enough. If you are not me, I don't know what to do for you. I'm sorry, but I think that it's a great scholarship, and I'd love for everybody here taking time of your Saturday to actually really, really, get it. I don't know what the success rates are, but I believe that it gives an opportunity for those that obviously have a passion and a drive to, make changes in their community and also drive impact at the end of the day sustainably. So please go for it if you want to, and just like I always say, don't catch your eggs in one basket. There are a lot of scholarships opening. Commonwealth is going to be opening now. Chauvenet is going to be opening. All of them are opening at the same time. So it's really the ball in your court. But I think I'll just take some couple of final words. I think we've said a lot of things, but just final words to your younger sister or sibling who is going for this scholarship. We'll just call a question a close. Daphne, then Hamid.
Okay, so I'll say you never know until you try. So you might feel like based on what we've said or based on the people that have had certain things, you might feel like you don't qualify. But you never know until you try. So if there's a scholarship that you're looking to apply to, or there is a program, it might not necessarily be only a scholarship. I think you should just go for it. And honestly, it's not easy. It's not going to be like a walk in the park. There'll be days when you wake up. That's why it's good to start the essays early. There'll be days when you wake up and you absolutely are not sure what you want to do with your degree. But getting the chance to start early and think through yourself, reflect on, your experiences and how they have shaped you into who you are and how they make you a perfect candidate for whatever you're applying to. It must necessarily be perfect, but a good candidate are really going to be helpful. And also find support. The journey is daunting. Sometimes you might need someone to talk to. It's good to have people that are supporting you through the journey, and it might not necessarily be financial or reading through your essays, but just having someone that you can come back and say, oh, I feel so frustrated, this and that happened today. I tried to submit the recommendation, but the person wasn't responding. All of that might be really helpful. So find support and be accountable. Even if you don't have an accountability partner, be accountable for yourself. Set goals. Today I'm going to write one paragraph of the essay. That's fine if you can just write one paragraph, but start early enough so that if you're writing just one paragraph a day, then by the end of the period, you would have had a good number of essays or a good number of words to be able to submit your application in time. So I'll say that's it from my end.
Okay, thank you.
It seems you've said everything, Daphne. And really looking forward to seeing you in Edinburgh when you come around. For me, I don't know how to give advice, to be honest. I struggle with this. But I think one of the things I would say is pay attention to the process. reflect on every bit and things of what you're doing, learn from them, learn from the process. As you're writing your essays, pay attention to like, those processes, even if you're rejected, don't take it personally. The people who are rejected, you are not bad people. If you're in their position, you also reject somebody. So, take the opportunity to, reflect, be better, pay attention to like the small wins you've had, the fact that you even applied in the first place, that takes a lot of courage. You already have a draft that you can always build upon. You can always try again. They are picking like maybe 30 something people out of like many thousands applicants. So like, don't feel, I know you should feel bad, obviously, yes, but also take responsibility, because it is in taking responsibility that you find meaning. You don't want somebody to come and start rubbing your head and say sorry. But rather you want to like say that I'm going to take responsibility for this, and I'm going to like improve, and I'm going to like, keep doing the work that I'm doing, and maybe some other scholarship we come. So I think, pay attention to the process. Sometimes the wins are in the process. Even though the outcome is really good, the wins are sometimes in the process. And when we are grateful for the process, some other doors also open without even knowing. But because you're paying attention, you're learning, you're building your story, if you can't write really well, I've seen people be like, oh, it's because some people can write really well, that's why they are getting the scholarship. But you can also start writing, right? That doesn't mean that you should not learn how to write. I'm not also like a powerful writer. When I started, like, in the past, like I actually beat up myself to start writing really well. So, if you have an opportunity to start writing, if that's your weakness, start building up your writing skills, start writing, start, reflecting. They are not looking for people who have gotten the quiz English or something. They are looking for somebody who can communicate, so just try to be like, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm doing it, this is what I want, communicate as well, learn all of those things. If you're scared of interviews, start practicing interviews, do mock interviews, speak to the mirror. Like, I don't know how many times I've spoken to the mirror, just trying to practice for myself, so, understand your story, your story, practice your story. All of those things adds up, now I go to interview without having like, when they say, tell us about yourself, I'm like, I'm going to smash this one. Like,
yeah,
because I've like said it's like almost 50 times. I'm tired of like talking about myself.
I don't think it.
So every opportunity to write an application, to write an essay, to do an interview is an audition. And every rejection as well is an audition. You've learned something from that process. So don't disqualify yourself, like Daphne mentioned. Go for it if you feel like you're ready and you're qualified. Don't ever disqualify yourself. You don't know what could come out from it. So I'm rooting for you. I mean, scholarship is not meant for just selected few. If you're qualified and you feel like I am qualified for this and I can do this, go for it. And learn through the process. And rooting for you guys. Yeah. And maybe I'm going to see some of you soon somewhere. I don't know where, but we could connect somewhere or at some place or at some point.
Yeah.
But if you see me, stop me and say hi, and I'll say hi back. Yeah. So
nice. Oh, honestly, I've learned a lot. Like, one thing about these sessions is that probably everybody and what they are picking out. Some people are picking out on the process. Some people are getting motivated through. Some people are being driven to start. Some people. So I always say that when these sessions are on, sometimes there are some scholarship sessions on. I don't need any scholarship, but I just hop on, because everybody and what you draw inspiration. That's why you put positive people around you and they impact you positively. Okay. So sometimes when you see all these things and you don't even have passion to do it, I just joined this session. It's a business meeting, it's a book meeting. These are things. I'm an engineer, but I joined these things to be able to perfect other skills that I have got. Probably your communication skills, writing skills, leadership skills, even political issues. I hate politics. My mom always wants to put me up. My mom can randomly come and ask you, who's the minister for communications? I'm like, how is that my business? Because no, she believes that if you have a power and skill in science and engineering, you should have a power and skill in other things, because you are dealing with other people. So you should be able to know other things. Okay. So actively being part of conversations on Twitter, on LinkedIn and stuff, just hopping, because I drive and draw inspiration from people that do things like this. And I think this, I have personally learned. You could see that I was typing some key things that I was drawing from your inspiration, because sometimes in the PhD journey as well, you might lose certain inspirations at certain points in your life, but for the fact that people, I mean, it's for people, you get to be happy. So thank you guys very much. Thank you, Daphne. Thank you, Kayode, for this, for taking time of your morning to do this for us. We really appreciate it. We might not be many here, but I believe that, like you said, if you're able to put a smile on just one, we achieve the goal, and that's all the aim it is. So thank you very, very, very much. I think we'll send an acknowledgement. Yeah, I think just as their names are, you can just search for them on LinkedIn. Just write their names down. They are proactive. Sometimes I can even search into their things and go even find their personal Facebook, Instagram, and stuff. That is how a researcher is supposed to be. Not every time you ask for things, okay? Follow them. Drop them a very heartwarming, message on your session today. It leaves an indelible mark in their minds, okay, that they've been able to, impact you to start the journey. If you can even leave a recommendation for them on their LinkedIn pages as well, that goes a long way, because these are things that leave a mark in the minds of people that take time off to do things for you. So I always acknowledge and tell people to do it. So thank you so much. And it's been a wonderful session, and I agree. And this has not been possible without very, very active members of Dear Young Graduate. The team has grown bigger over the years, but right on my screen, I can see Mimi. Mimi is actively a volunteer in Dear Young Graduate that works hand in hand with the social media manager. And they are all anything you see on Dear Young Graduate, sharing scholarship information. Like I said, if you follow other pages, you know that we share these opportunities as and when they come. They actively share it every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We share so many scholarships. If you come to me and say that, oh, there are no scholarships, I'll disagree with you, because every day we've got scholarships that we share on there. So thank you very much, Mimi. And Anna Baba Jacobs, I'm sure you you guys liaise a lot with Anna Baba Jacob, who happens to be our liaison officer as well. Yeah. So she liaises with other scholars, looks for them, find them. And obviously this is where we have these sessions. I just hop on. They call me just the face of JL graduates. I don't know what's happening. I just meet the people with their bio and I get to meet them in person. So, but there's a lot of things that go on the background. And I'd like to thank my co-founder, Nana Dumain Cancer JP. You guys met Eric Nianite Odonko, who happens to be our programs and projects manager as well. There's Akosia, President Akosia Dede, who happens to be social media manager. There is Sapon Mordecai, who happens to be a volunteer. I mentioned their names very well. Nancy Pell, I can see Nancy Pell here somewhere in the participants as well. Who's a volunteer. I mentioned Mimi Christian, who is also a volunteer. Jessica Casa, who is also a volunteer. Desmond, all the flyers and the videos you see on our social media platform is from Desmond and Clement. Charity, who is also a volunteer. And our head of advertisements, also Benny Goodman, and Alice, who is also a volunteer. I like to mention all of them because I want you to believe that I don't do these things by myself. There's a whole team and a whole village that brings these sessions together. So I'm very, very grateful for them each day and every time. And to all of you here as well, who actually found the drive and the need to be able to make your lives better, we are here rooting for you. So please do go for it today. Until another session, let me just make mention of the fact that if you know anybody who is also studying in the UK, Dear Young Graduates has a wing, which is an international support team. Maybe Hamed, you could join and pop in your advice. Daphne, you could join if you're also coming here in the UK, Scotland, Edinburgh. We have an international support group where we help people with questionings. Coming to the UK for the first time, I don't know your experience, but trust me, I didn't even know how to get a taxi from the hotel, from the airport, but maybe you guys got the chance by Mastercard. But it's a headache. Where to to get a taxi from London to wherever your airport is, to where you don't even know who to contact, or is it going to be paid by cash or card and all of that. So we have an international support team where to get groceries for cheaper. I prefer Asda, some of them I prefer Tesco. So we just help each other on the support group, and we are looking forward to doing great things like creating a sense of community among international students that come to the UK as well. So if you know anybody in the UK who is coming to study in the UK, after this session, when I just ended, I'll pop that over. They can just join this group and let's have a a good teacher. We're also currently running Scholarship Buddy, like I explained, where we pair you with mentors to get to review your documentation as well. So if you have all your documents ready, the call will be open again somewhere, I think, end of December or September. I'm not too sure, but we run 2 cohorts a year, and we pair you with your mentor. So if you've got your documentation and stuff, you can pop by. Also, we have a page called Scholarship 101, where it was a 6 weeks back-to-back series on how to apply for scholarships. And I know quite a number of you there were on the Scholarship 101 platform as well. And yeah, most of the videos are on our YouTube channel, Dear Young Graduate. You can pop over, listen to other sessions here, and all the sessions are still on Facebook. You can always have a refresher on there. And yeah, I think that's how, if I've missed some things, maybe Mimi or anybody, Nancy Pearl, or anyone who is, yeah, you can pop over. But yeah, I mean, it would be great to hear from you guys. This year, we actually got 2 Chevenix from last year's session who actually got it. So I'm excited about it. I don't even know how to sleep. So hopefully we get emails from you guys or messages from you guys that this session was really helpful for your journey. And yeah, you got through. So yeah, I think until same time, another scholarship, which might be a 1-month whole series on chevening. But intermittently, we are dropping some other things like graduate assistantship positions and all of that sessions. I'm back on full track. So every Saturday, you're going to see me, whether you're going to see me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, anywhere. If you hear Lois Damte running from Dear Young Graduate, quickly run and join me. And yeah, it'll be great to see you some other time. Okay, same time. Bye.